We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action. In communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at Rotary.org.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. Like in Austria, where generations work side by side to come up with innovative ways to build sustainable housing and community centers. Everyone learning from each other. In India, volunteers run a mobile blood bank to help provide a steady blood supply for their local community. And in Taiwan, people are working hard to get vulnerable citizens the support and services they need. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. In your backyard and around the world, there's power in our connections. Take action with us. Find out more at Rotary.org.
This is a story of historic progress, a story that doesn't exist without you. Our unifying effort in 3 decades of action demonstrates our commitment and endurance. And our progress thus far shows that a polio-free world is achievable. Individuals, clubs, partners, and governments share a collective vision to improve the health of every single child. We've eliminated polio in some of the most difficult places, overcoming obstacles and navigating complex issues. Our successes prove that polio will be eradicated, and while ending a global disease is not easy, as Rotary, we don't give up. We'll continue our fight until each child is protected. This isn't possible without you. So stay involved, keep pushing forward, engage your clubs and communities. Start a social media conversation and increase visibility on the importance of this global effort. Hold events and fundraisers on World Polio Day and throughout the year. Advocate to governments about the importance of supporting polio eradication. Make a contribution and invest in one of the largest health initiatives ever. Be a character in our story. Be the solution to our challenge. It's because of each and every one of you that we will improve our future by making polio a disease of the past. Eradication is possible. So let's keep our promise.
For over 100 years, Rotary members have taken action when challenges arise. We know what people can do when they come together and put others before themselves.
The team lead said they will continue the campaign to fight against the coronavirus.
Local Rotary clubs deliver food and supplies to people in need.
Strangers become friends, helping hands multiply, and problems turn into solutions. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
Meet David. David has been thinking about joining his local Rotary Club, but he's got some reservations. David's got questions like, is Rotary membership right for me? Or do I even have time to be a Rotarian? Let's explore the top 5 Rotary membership myths exposed. Myth number 1, Rotary is only for business networking. While Rotary was in fact founded as a professional group, its purpose has always been centered on service to the community and in fact the world. Both the personal and professional contacts that you will undoubtedly make are just a wonderful side benefit of joining Rotary. Myth number 2, Rotary is just an old boys club. There was a day when Rotary was comprised of just local businessmen, but that was long ago. Here's the bottom line. We're simply looking for high-character men and women in our community that want to serve. Myth number 3, Rotary is expensive. Actually, Rotary membership fees vary from club to club, community to community. Some are as little as mere dollars per month. Myth number 4, if I can't make the meetings, I can't be in Rotary. Rotary is about serving. If you want to help us serve the community, but just can't get to regular meetings, your local club will absolutely find a way for you to participate. Myth number 5, I just don't have time to be a Rotarian. Did you or does your business have 2 hours per month to contribute to the community? We can show you some reasonable goals and examples of how to get yourself involved in Rotary inside of your busy schedule. So you see, David did have some concerns about joining Rotary until he heard the whole story. Don't let these myths stand in your way. Start your Rotary journey of service right now, because the world needs Rotary, and Rotary needs you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the closing session for Rotary Zone's 3334 Summit of Champions. My name is Alex Ritchie, and I am a dual member of the Rotaract Club of RVA and the Rotary Club of James River in District 7600. With me, I'd also like to introduce Marcy Ullum, Rotary Club of Miami Brickell, District 6990, who will be serving as our Q&A moderator, Terry Weaver, Rotary Club of Greenville, District 7750, who will be monitoring the chat, And of course, our behind the scenes support is managed by Marshall Butler, Rotary Club of West Jacksonville in District 6970, and Ken Dresser, Rotary Club of South Brunswick Islands, District 7730. So by now, you probably know them all by heart, but let's start with just a couple of housekeeping comments. Please note this session is being recorded. You have all been muted, and we request you stay on mute to ensure no background noise interferes with the presentation. Please make sure you are in speaker view for the best experience during the forum. There will also be an opportunity for questions after the presentation. Please note at the bottom of your screen the chat box and the Q&A box. Use the chat box for general comments, but please put all questions for our speakers in the Q&A box only. Now, it is likely there will be more questions than we have time, so please understand that we'll try to get to as many as possible. For those of you who have been with us since this morning, I hope you really enjoyed the breakout sessions. By the way, all of the breakouts were recorded. So if there were others that interested you, you can find them all on the Zones 3334 website under Resource Libraries. So to kick off our closing session, we have a truly international and universal message from One Voice Children's Choir.
The sad eyes. Don't be discouraged, though I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness there inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this one makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Let them show your true colors. See your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and
we all know, Rotarians and Rotaractors show their true colors every day in all of their interactions as people of action in our communities around the world. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Director Peter Kyle, co-convener of this year's Summit of Champions. Peter's full bio is in the Summit online program. Peter is our zone's favorite Kiwi, hailing from New Zealand and previously the Dean of the Rotary Representative Network. Please join me in giving a warm Rotary welcome to Peter Kyle.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, everybody. In case you have not heard, I am delighted to announce that next year's Leadership Summit will be held at the Naples Grand Hotel, Resort Hotel in Naples, Florida, from September 30 to October 3, hopefully in person. I have to say, I'm really excited about this venue. From the moment I drove up the hotel driveway, I had a feeling that this would be the perfect location. Over the next day and a half, I met with key hotel personnel, tourist promotion officials, and senior leaders from District 6960, including John Smarge, Rich Kirchner, Sandra Hempstead, Bobby Bird, and others. The longer I stayed, the better I felt about this venue. The vibe just kept getting stronger and stronger. A couple of months later, I returned to the hotel with Art McQueen, who, in a weak moment, agreed to serve as the Summit Chair for 2021. Art was also blown away by the hotel. We then began the contract negotiations. You want to have Art on your side for contract negotiations. They extended over several months, but in the end, we, i.e. Art, got pretty much all that we wanted, including a very good daily rate of $154 plus for September of next year. That's a good deal. So let me get into some specifics. The dates for the training seminars will be September 28 to 30, and the summit itself will be September 30 to October 3. The theme is simply, we're getting the band back together. Don't you think we've been far apart long enough? We think Naples will offer our zones the perfect opportunity to enjoy the in-person camaraderie we've missed at this Leadership Summit. We need to get reacquainted, have fun together, enjoy the fellowship and the inspiration for what we believe will be a truly great event. So what does Naples have to offer? Well, it's a wonderful city. Lots of great restaurants, close to the property for our class dinners. Yes, I did say class dinners. We will be having class dinners, and also a party night on the property. A great property at a great rate on a great beach in a great city. What more could you possibly wish for? Let's chase the blues away and get the band back together again. The only thing we want that's blue is the sky and the sea. Now let me now share a short video with you. Great, many thanks everyone. Great call. See you next week. I've just had enough of Zoom. I want to see my Rotary friends again. I want to bring the band back together again. Hey Tara, great news. We're getting the band back together again.
Okay, I'm down.
Hey Marshall. Well, it looks like you're in. Hey Isaac, getting the band back together again. We're on a mission from Shaker.
I already had in.
Okay, Elwood, on to Naples.
Elwood, come on, Peter. It's Art.
Okay, Art, Elwood, whatever. We'll see you in Naples.
Hi, I'm Debbie DiBenedetto, Group Sales Manager for Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades CVB. We welcome you to Florida's Paradise Coast. I'm here to remind you we've never looked better. The hotels, resorts have all been newly renovated and everything is perfect, waiting for you and your next meeting.
Even the most experienced meeting planner could never have planned for this, but it will pass. And when it does, Here's what you can expect from paradise. Venues ready to welcome you, chefs ready to wow you, and sunsets ready to inspire you like never before. Until then, keep us in your thoughts and we'll do the same. Because if there's one thing all of us know, all of us believe, it's this: we will meet again on Florida's Paradise Coast.
Elwood, we show your license currently under suspension. Step out of the car, please.
First you trade the Cadillac for a microphone. Then you lie to me about the band. Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from Shaker.
Hi, everybody. We got a couple of special thanks we want to make sure we get out there. You guys just saw that video. Got to thank Andy Van Hook. Andy's a member of the Harrisonburg Club in Virginia, and he also owns a company that kind of does this stuff. So make sure you visit Andy if you got any of these kind of needs. We owe him a big shout out, as well as Marshall Butler. Now, about this band. So what's this band all about? Who's in this band? Well, obviously, every band's got a front man. Our front man is our director, Peter Kyle. Then you got a side man. The side man in this case, it's me. Then you got someone on the pipes. On the pipes, we got George Two Fingers Robertson Burnett, who's also going to serve as our program chair. On the guitar and also our training chair is Cindy Smiley Covington. On drums, we got Dawn the Pelican Rochelle. She's going to serve as our arrangements chair. On the keyboards, we got Daryl Six Fingers Keys, and Daryl is handling logistics in Naples for us. On the sax, our operations man, John Where's My Muse Paget. On the bass and on the mixer, Marshall, I'm a bad man Butler. On promotions, the promoter and registration chair, Doug, Promoters Don't Wear Black, Wolf. And our money man, the penny pinching treasurer, Larry the Miser Lassiter. Would you, obviously you'd pay this guy if you owed him money, right? That's the band, but the band's not quite done. We got a couple of instruments yet to fill out. We look forward to seeing all of you join us in Naples because we're getting the band together and you're all in it. Peter, take us to the house.
Thanks, Art. Great job. We're looking forward to seeing you in Naples. This is going to be a fantastic event. Remember, September 30, to October 3. Thank you, Alex. Back to you.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Peter and Art. I know after that, I am already excited about the Naples Summit. And with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce the Black Mambas, Craig Spencer and Tom Tochterman. The Black Mambas are actually, as we speak, out on patrol in the wilds of Africa, protecting our precious wildlife resources. But we have learned that one or two might be able to join us. They have also sent us a special video message, and then Craig, founder of the Black Mambas, and Tom, chair of the Endangered Species RAG, will tell us more about all the Black Mambas are accomplishing, not just for wildlife, but for women, peace, and their communities.
old school conservationists laughed at us. They said it's never going to work.
I'm 25 years old and I'm one of the black members.
I'm working other black members anti-poaching unit.
They're always very, very shy at the beginning, and then they get a 6-week training course. And that's taking them through arrest procedures, fitness, how to use the equipment. So for 2 weeks, they'll go off in the bush somewhere and they have to survive by themselves.
The animals are too brutal, so I was so very scared.
Training was to learn about the behaviors of the animals, the wild ones. So when we come across them, we know what to do.
I told myself that I have to do it.
We haven't had a single dropout. They've all made it through.
So now I'm used to it and I protect the nature itself.
Always I was dreaming from when I was young to protect the environment.
When they come out of the training, they're very different people.
My favorite part of my job is patrolling the fence, go around sweeping for snares.
Every hour I call them to check on them. When we find something suspicious, we call for backup. Usually we are not using weapons. We are eyes and ears of the reserves. We are doing it differently.
This one poaching is bigger than guns and bullets.
We are going to schools to teach children about the environment, about how to protect the animals, teach them that it's not good to kill an animal.
They are too lucky because we didn't have that opportunity. There was no one to tell us about the life of animals.
We're now visiting 668 learners that we're reaching. Awareness is the main objective.
To be a black mamba, it means we are tough and strong young ladies who can work in the bushes without no fear.
I know that I'm helping the animals out there.
As a black mamba, I feel proud in a community when I'm wearing my uniform. And people, when they look up at me, they see a hero.
If we've lost a rhino, then we've failed. We mark our success on the amount of time that we've gone without losing it. Within 1 year, they've brought down snaring by 86%, and there'd been no rhino poaching in this region either. That was proof enough to everybody that it's working.
Now that we are having black members, there is decrease of poaching. We are doing it different.
I always knew that it would work. We just didn't realize how quickly it was going to take effect and how quickly the results would show.
Good evening. Are we live?
You're live.
Okay, very good. I take it I am up, and greetings everyone from the Rotary Club of Lake Chelan. We are located in North Central Washington State, District 5060. My name is Tom Tochterman, and I am a 30-year member of Rotary and current president of my club, and chair of the Rotary Action Group for Endangered Species. I want to thank Marcy and the Summit staff for putting this event on and for reaching out to Craig and I to provide this opportunity to present to all of you. This afternoon, I am representing the Rotary Action Group for Endangered Species. The title of this presentation this afternoon is Healthy Landscapes, Healthy Communities, and Extinction is Forever. For those that are not aware, RAGES is a 1,000-member organization with the purpose of mobilizing Rotarians and provide global awareness and focused action as people of action in continuing the struggle to preserve and protect endangered species. We support and promote new and ongoing projects led by Rotarians from all over the world and Rotary clubs as well. Our efforts started in the beginning with a particular focus on rhinos in Africa, actually along with Dr. William Folds, who you may have seen earlier today in a breakout session, as well as saving orangutans and pygmy elephants in Borneo. All projects, again, being led by or involving Rotarians and Rotary clubs. We also now support a couple of programs saving primates in Africa and pollinators in Central America. Generally, we are, as an action group, interested in engaging anywhere poaching and habitat loss and other threats actually threaten rare animals and plants and the economic survival of indigenous people that survive and rely on ecotourism for their livelihood. So our mission as an action group is to advance the reach of Rotary by providing Rotarians like most of you today the means to engage in saving endangered species with an emphasis on making the overarching environmental cause relevant to at least four of our Rotary areas of focus, which include, and we hope to present and make relevant to you in this presentation, basic education and literacy, community and economic development, peace and conflict resolution, and lastly, and most obviously, the new area of focus on supporting the environment. As an example of the power and beauty of Rotary, specifically action groups, I'd like to introduce Mr. Craig Spencer, the founder and director of Transfrontier Africa. Craig and I partnered about 11 years ago to create what we were hoping to be a new and more effective model in the fight against illicit wildlife trade in general. Craig is my mentor, proud to say. He alone inspired me to create my 501c3 NGO called Rhino Mercy, rhinomercy.org. And together we have changed and improved the lives of many, many people we don't even know, I'm sure. But the program he will be presenting here, the Black Mamba Anti-Poaching Unit, exemplifies the breadth and depth of what we Rotarians can do and can create and get involved with just the right amount of passion and fortitude. This is the beauty of Rotary. Craig will demonstrate how supporting the environment, Rotary's newest area of focus, as I've said, achieves Rotary objectives. So thank you, Craig, for taking the time in the bush, being in the bush with taking the time to present to this group our collective efforts and accomplishments in the bush. And I would like everyone to understand that as Murphy's Law suggests, both of us sitting half a world apart in different continents, both of us had critical last minute snafus, causing us to go scramble to our alternate locations for this broadcast. So having said that, I hope it makes it even more worth your while to pay attention and hopefully contact us, ask questions and contact us afterwards if you're so inclined. So thanks again, Craig, and the staff here at the summit. And Craig, the screen is all yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tom. And yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you for the last 11, 12 years. This is our 12th year, I think, in partnership.
Yes.
So just before we kick into the Black Mamba thing, I kind of put a few, I'm not sure if you can see anything because I'm sitting out here in the wilderness. You know, some of the display items that I've got balanced on the bonnet of my Land Rover, that's a white rhino skull, just as demonstration of one of the pillars that we stand on. You can see its face has been teed off by poachers in the past. On this side over here, we've got the symbol of our research components. It's some ancient old microscopes that's on display in our research facility. And right here in the center are two busts carved by the local indigenous population of a husband and wife team. So that just kind of sums up the ethos, if you wish, of what it is that we stand for in the Black Mambas and the entire anti-poaching arena cannot be won with bullets alone. I'm trying to buy for time now because I'm sharing my screen, and I think it's working. So just stand by, and then I will run through. I'm not going to say much because the slides will say it all. That is our logo, guys. The Black Mamba all-women anti-poaching unit. There's a number of similar initiatives around the landscape in sub-Saharan Africa right now, but we're proud to announce that we were probably the first. In fact, I know we were the first, and we've been catalytic in forming a few similar projects around the globe. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors because it's mandatory. The Department of Environmental Affairs has been very good to us. I believe all good NGOs should be mandated. Of course, the Baluli landscape, where I'm sitting right now, part of the greater Kruger National Park, and there's the South African National Parks logo. And then you had the Pondoro Lodge, which is one of our biggest supporters, a very prominent lodge on the landscape. If you want to know where we sit, have a look at the map of South Africa. Why is this significant? The Kruger National Park makes up 3% of South Africa's land mass. That's a very small percentage, but that is where that's our Swiss bank account for all the rhinos, elephants, and lions. Yes, there's other smaller national parks on the landscape, but when we talk about free range mega parks, it's only 3% of our landscape. That little blob that keeps flashing up there, that's where I'm sitting right now. That's where the Mambas are patrolling as we speak. The light green component is old agricultural land where the fences have come down with the Kruger National Park. The dark green component is the old historical Kruger Park. So there, that just gives you a little bit of context in the sub-Saharan. Okay, our coalition mission, not going to say too much about this, rather look at the pictures. Okay, that's a small unit of Black Mambas. There's 36 of us on the landscape at the moment, but our mission is to make the Kruger National Park the most difficult and undesirable place to poach. Okay, we're not in the business of creating orphans and widows. We would rather disrupt and displace. One of my lights has just died. Hang on, let me just wiggle it around. There we go, back on again. And then, of course, to develop patriotism for the park, because we need to hand this park over to the next generation, and we can't do that if we have communities on our boundaries that still see the boundary fence or the cadastral line as a barrier between value systems or lifestyles. So we need to build up a patriotism amongst our communities, and they will become the allies of the park. And then the key phrases that I like to use all the time, there's a socio-political angle to illegal wildlife trade and bushmeat poaching and what have you. There's cultural issues, there's socio-economic, and then of course there's the social and moral decay that sets in with poachers. So have a look at these pictures at the bottom. This is the Mambas during their training as well, special weapons training, a lot of fitness training and so on. And the primary purpose of this operation, what we are trying to achieve at the end of the day, is an early detection and crime prevention model. Okay, so I always say that my Mambas have got an MSc. Everybody thinks, oh my goodness, they've been to university and got a master's. That's not what I mean. It's monitoring, surveillance, and compliance. Okay, it's a community operation that watches. They use their eyes and their ears, and then of course, that's all good and well. We can buy the day, but if we don't address the social decay and the false economy that poaching creates in these communities, then we have lost the landscape. There's no resilience to a national park. So the social decay, just to give you an example, is that kind of Robin Hood mentality, where the poacher comes into the community and he's driving BMWs and fancy, he's got all the bling bling, and the young kids at school are sitting and saying, but why should I go to school and try to better myself if I can have a BMW and a Mercedes-Benz at the age of 18? All I have to do is knock off an elephant or a rhino. So we have to address that. We have to address the false economy. If the rhinos have all been wiped out on the landscape, nobody's going back to planting cabbages and things. You have to service that BMW and buy tires and maintain your social status. So you're going to target a different species or resort to some other kind of crime, which might be knocking off lodges and hijackings and what have you. So social decay is a teacher in the community, off duty, will lease their car out. The old lady with a little shack will help you to bury the weapon under her floorboards in her shack for a fee, so it ripples through the community. So what are the Black Mambas? The Black Mambas Guys, have a look at this. This is the paramilitary training that they do. It's the same training that every other male anti-poaching ranger will have to go through. There is no difference, except that they've got fantastic hair and they look much better in their uniforms. Okay. And why do we choose young women from the communities? Primarily because this is a multi-generational investment. And the young women are the primary, they will become, if they're not already, the primary caregivers in the communities. So we're not hiring field rangers to tackle the poaching problem. Yes, that's going to happen. But we are hiring sisters, potential mothers, wives, aunties, and eventually grandmothers at the end of the day. These are the primary caregivers in the communities. Where everybody says a woman can't do this kind of physical work in the bush. In the interview, all I have to say is, where do you, well, I just ask the questions. Where do you get your water every day? Oh, no, I collected 20 kilometers away, 20 liters on the head, 20 liters in each hand, plus a bundle of firewood. They say, oh no, I can't work with the wild animals. Women can never run around amongst elephants and lions. Where do you collect your firewood? No, I have to go over there to collect my firewood. You're doing the job already. Let me just focus your attention. So crime prevention is the critical angle of this thing. Visual policing, roadblocks. This is an example of one of the homemade weapons that the Black Mambas took off a vehicle trying to enter the reserve. If you are visible, you are going to deflect the crime somewhere else. I don't say that we're going to stop it altogether because we can't control the entire continent. But what we can do is we can displace it elsewhere. And continual fitness training, that's mental strength, pride in the uniform, etc. Just a quick, I know I'm running out of time already. Just a quick example of where we fit in. Can we do without the old traditional militaristic style? Probably not. But the Black Mambas, or the bobbies on the beat, they fulfill the biggest role. They're the base of the pyramid. They're covering more kilometers. There's more of them, and most of the budget is going into that base of the pyramid. Then as it goes up all the way to the top, that's where I'm sitting. Bobbies on the beat develop an institutional memory of their area. So they walk their same beat, they drive their same beat every single day. They know every rhino by name. They know every person by name. They can immediately tell that that vehicle shouldn't be there on the landscape. That rock is in a different place than it was this morning. Now, we pride ourselves in the fact that most of our decision is made on or based on science. We have continual research programs running to help us deploy in the appropriate places. And are the Mambas being effective, yes or no, or any other management interventions being effective, yes or no? This is Dr. James Danoff Berg from the Living Desert and Zoological Gardens in California. You've probably heard of the institution and amongst others, but I just took some key findings out of the most recent paper that they published. And the first key finding was through experiences and skills development, Black Mambas experienced tremendous self-growth and self-esteem, both in the workplace, by the way, and at home, which I think is quite significant. 100% of the Black Mambas report the program has fundamentally changed their beliefs about what women can do. I always say that the single biggest resource in Africa is not the gold and the diamonds and whatever else is that we mine out of the ground. It's actually the young women. You know, we just keep ignoring that. All right, have a look at these others. I don't want to talk too much about it, but, you know, read the text. What I want to say about this picture over here is this is what we're trying to foster. Somebody that can feels a nurturing, caring attitude or mentality towards the wildlife. I don't know how to explain it any better. I don't have the vocabulary, but when I see a young woman collect a tortoise that's been stuck under an electric fence and move it to safety, you know, that says a lot to me. That says they're not just doing this because they're getting a salary at the end of the day. You know, they actually believe in the work that they're doing. And they're not just doing this because rhinos have been drummed into their heads. There's a tortoise that's in distress. Let's pick it up and move it to the other side of the road so that it's not going to be influenced. So just have a look at this. The residents in all the 4 target communities value wildlife and protected areas on an average of 8 out of 10. That's a pretty good score. The members of all 4 target communities recognize and are encouraged by the beliefs that a Big 5 landscape is of benefit to them. That's our little canine unit. Why did we introduce canines? Yes, of course, the Belgian Malinois and the other dogs that we use are very effective in detecting poachers, and they protect the Mambas, and they also protect the Mambas from wild animals, etc. However, at the same time, it teaches the local population in the tribal villages that animals also have needs and they feel stresses and what have you. And you can actually bond with an animal. It's not just a tool in your toolbox that pulls your cart or defends your chickens against jackals and hyenas and what have you at night, but they can actually become a companion as well. So the canine is a very important component of what we're trying to achieve. Members of all four target communities are highly unsupportive of poaching. And this is different to the non-target communities. Role models. We are trying to establish a different role model in the community. Whereas in the past, the poacher was the role model because he had all the bling, he had the money, it was being flashed around, and in all the bars and the shebeens, he's buying everybody drinks and so on. So everybody aspired to be like that guy. We have now created different role models in the communities. They're the primary caregivers. Pride, dignity, human dignity is something that we strive for. Why don't we arm the black mambas? Because I don't think you should be putting a young mother in a position where they have to go home at the end of the day, tuck their children into bed with the psychological baggage of having to use a weapon to execute their daily function. Does that make sense? You know, we don't have the same safety nets in this country that you might have overseas, where if you have to use a weapon to defend yourself or to execute your duties, that you go for counseling and all kinds of other things. No. I want these ladies to tuck their children into bed at night or go back to their communities and brag about the wonderful elephants that they saw swimming in the water at the river, or the beautiful sunsets and all that kind of thing. We're not going to ask of a primary caregiver and a young mother to put herself in a position where she's taking the lives of people and protecting the lives of animals over the lives of human beings. That's just one of our pickets. It just shows you how we live out here. There's very limited electricity, very limited water, very limited resources, but we carry on regardless. Daily foot patrols, daytime foot patrols, nighttime vehicles. It's just disrupting the landscape. Disrupt, sit with the rhinos, babysit the rhinos. Roadblocks, searching every vehicle in and out. Now, none of these activities or objectives, none of these activities can achieve the objectives unless we partner with the schools in the community. So this is our Bush Babies program. I'm actually wearing my t-shirt tonight, a Bush Babies t-shirt. Very proud. One of my favorite components of the program, 11 primary schools, 1,300 children. When you go to these schools, there are 3 children sitting at one of those little desks normally. Okay, the teacher doesn't have a chair to sit on. There's holes in the roof and no glass in the windows. And it's 46 degrees Celsius on average inside one of those prefab buildings. So one of the statistics are a little bit old. So one of the focuses of this project is to create a conducive teaching environment and a stimulating and safe learning environment. Okay, and then we have 36 lesson plans that we've integrated into the curriculum. You can see the members are engaged daily with the communities, marching, generating support against poaching and for the wildlife. That's an example of the classrooms that have been dollied up. So that's before, and then have a look at the after. It's got to be stimulating. We install ceiling fans to put in air conditioners where there's electricity, otherwise you do. Lights, just make it stimulating for the kids. The Black Mambas go into those classrooms and address 1,300 kids on a weekly basis. Food security is critical. And, you know, we don't have a crystal ball, so we couldn't have foretold that COVID-19 was about to jump us in March or whatever it was this year. But luckily, we had already started a food security program at the primary schools using old tires from the mines, planting vegetables. And the vegetables are the basics or the staples that the people in the communities eat already. So there was a quick survey done. They were planted and they're yielding results now during this lockdown period, which is so fortuitous. We just, you know, we are so grateful for the fact that spinach, cabbages, butternuts, pumpkins, etc., are provided for the community, even during this lockdown period when everybody's lost their jobs. Okay, so this is, like I've said before, it's multi-generational. The kids are going home to households that are managed by the magogos, the grandmothers and what have you, and we engage them. These are the grandmothers that were taken into the park. They get taken in on a regular basis, taken to the old traditional tribal heritage sites where their ancestors were from, etc. I think it's a force multiplier. to gain the trust of the people. So it's not just the kids going back from school to home and telling grandmother what they learned at school or what they learned from the Black Mambas, but the grandmothers can actually relate directly to them, and the grandfathers, of course, as well. I don't know how I'm doing for time, but here we sit now with my second last slide. Black Mambas BM doesn't just stand for Black Mambas. It's best mothers and it's be more. And that's what we're striving for. Role models. By the way, I just want to point out before I close down, okay, I love this little cartoon character over there. When you talk about a women empowerment project, especially in the third world context, I see a lot of these projects spring up and they always want to partner with us. And I'm a little bit hesitant because I see men coming from a Western culture and training women to be men in the anti-poaching arena. And there's quite a few NGOs that are doing this, and they've kind of jumped on the Black Mamba bandwagon. And I just want to caution everybody out there. Women empowerment is not about taking women out of an impoverished environment and training them to be men, shaving their heads, painting them with war paint, putting a machine gun in their hands, making them march up and down, left, right, left, right, left, right. And then you claim victory and say, look at me. I was a sniper in Afghanistan and I came to Africa to save the poor African people, and I managed to convert their women into little men soldiers. That's not what we are about. We are about celebrating the fact that women have got different sets of values and different skills that they can offer to this arena. This arena has failed many times over. Poaching is not new. This has been going on since colonial intervention in Africa. And why do we think that we are going to shoot this problem away using the same old rusty tools that we've used time and time again? We have neglected the fact that there is a big gap here, and that is a set of values. Guys, we are missing a set of values. Women bring those values into this arena, and they take them back home again. And none of our training facilities or anything are geared to accommodate women. If I bring women into my traditional training, so we've been training anti-poaching units, paramilitary units for years, for decades. And yet it's open showers, it's open toilets where everybody must sit next to each other, just like we had in the old army days. And I deploy 3 women with 5 guys and what have you, they're married and so on. It's just awkward and it's difficult. And, there's certain things that you must consider, especially from a cultural perspective. But the main message I want to leave is, let us celebrate the value that women can bring into this arena, rather than say, I'm going to train you to be a little man and you will now carry a man's values. We need the women's values more than anything else, especially the fact that they are the mothers of the future generation. We need them more than they need us. Guys, that's it. I'm done. It's now time for Q&A, I think.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Tom and Craig. Your passion is palpable and very exciting at the end of a long day here. As mentioned earlier, my name is Marcy Ullum, and I am serving as the Q&A moderator. And we have several questions I'm going to get started with. So let's start with, can you share instances of typical opportunities of catching and arresting potential perpetrators, how you caught them, and then what actually became of them?
Yes, so it's a pity that I don't have some of the Mambas with me tonight, but we got the times confused, so they're actually out on patrol at the moment, as they are every night. There's been many incidences. Remember the poachers, we're dealing with a level 1 criminal here. They come in with a pair of flip-flops, a 2-liter Coke bottle filled with water, and a rusty old gun that's got a silencer on the front that's made from an old shock absorber or mag light or something like that. Maybe they got a handful of rusty old bullets as well. But the point is that their primary objective is to shoot a rhino. It's a different context to the Democratic Republic of Congo or Uganda, where it's very, very militant and militarized. So here, I don't arm the young ladies. They detect the tracks coming in, or the torch of the poacher coming in. You guys call it a spotlight, I think, or a flashlight, etc. And they will notify the operations center that's also run by the Black Mambas, and then the small armed guard rapid response unit will respond to that, and then it's hands off for them. They'll say, here's footprints of poachers coming in, hands off. You guys take over from there. However, there are times, of course, when they do spontaneously bump into poachers on the landscape, and they shout and scream and chase after them with their Land Rovers, and chase, and the poachers drop everything and run away, screaming loud. One of the and we can get away with that right now. And I believe that if the Mambas were armed, we would increase the level of threat on the force continuum, because the poachers will be watching from the sideline and they will say, gee, I can't come in here without a self-defense weapon. My rifle is designed to shoot a rhino or an elephant or whatever it might be. But I'm going to have to ask an off-duty police officer or security guard or what have you to accompany me the next time. And he must bring his shotgun or his 9mm pistol, because these women are heavily armed. But right now, they can say, all I have to do is hide in the bush and wait until the Mambas have passed and then run away, kind of thing. So we don't want to increase that force continuum. The poachers will respond to us the way we respond to them, and it will just climb a kind of arms race. But there are some fantastic anecdotal stories where the Mambas have thrown all caution to the wind. And, one of my favorite stories is a vehicle traveling outside the reserve. Now, remember, they're on the inside with this western boundary fence. We only have one fence left in this neck of the woods, and that's on the western boundary to protect the agricultural sector from the wild animals. And they noticed this vehicle traveling at speed with a woman bound and gagged on the back. And the woman was like shouting for help. The Mambas said, to hell with this. They drove that Land Rover through the fence. They chased her. They registered everything with the operations room. Whilst they were driving, they managed to stop and apprehend the driver and free the woman. And the police finally arrived. And that was, to me, my favorite story, because it's not part of their job description. So, I don't like to reward somebody for doing their basic job. Their basic job is to stop, disrupt, whatever, poachers. But when you see something above and beyond the call of duty and you intervene and it's a success, that is worthy of a medal, because that's above and beyond the call of duty. Rescuing that woman, putting their lives at risk, incurring my wrath for driving my Land Rover through a boundary fence and thrashing it, at 120 kilometers an hour, which is very out of the box for one of these old-fashioned vehicles. They threw all caution to the wind for that. That's above and beyond the call of duty, and that's what I like about these ladies.
So I'm just going to say this. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, but there's a lot of other questions. And so what we're going to do is encourage people to get in touch with you directly. But right now, I think one of the questions that I'm going to broaden it is, do the Black Mambas have partnerships either with known organizations like the World Wildlife Federation, or are you working with Rotary in your local area?
We have, thanks. That's a good question. We definitely don't work in isolation. So we have very good partnerships. Rhino Mercy, of course, in the United States, is Dr. Tom Tochterman, who's online, my partner. And then Tusk is a big one. We don't partner with WWF. I think we're probably too small for them. We have presented to the local Rotary here in Hoedspruit as well. And we do have a lot of support from them. They're always there, especially with our food, the food security program that we have in the community now, where there's 90 families that are left with absolutely nothing because of the lockdown thing. And the Mambas have been continuously providing them with resources and so on. So yes, we have many, many partners. A number of the zoos internationally, Kansas City Zoo, in fact, and even the the Western Kentucky University of Arizona. We have a number of partners in this arena.
Fabulous. So we are at time, although there are tons more questions that could have. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of people who you have sparked their interest in joining the Rages group, Tom, so be looking for that. Craig, thank you so much for coming to us. And I know your team, the Mambas out there, are making a huge difference. Please join me in giving a round Rotary applause to the Black Mambas, Craig Spencer and Tom Tochterman. And I'm going to turn it back to our moderator, Alex.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you very much, everyone. Do I mute my microphone now? I think so.
For a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that.
something greater. Go make a legacy, manifest destiny. Back in the days, we wanted everything. Wanted everything.
Everything Mama said, burn your biographies, rewrite your history, light up your wildest dreams, museum victories.
Every day we wanted everything. Wanted everything. Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love, and I hate to see you waiting.
Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes.
Mama said, except for oddities, stranger crusaders. Ain't never wanna be the weird and the novelties don't ever change. We wanted everything, wanted everything.
Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, and never come down. Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, and never come down.
Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love, and I hate to see you waiting. They say it's all been done, but they haven't seen the best of me. So I got one more run, and it's gonna be a sight to see.
Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living.
Wow, incredible. Well, if there is anyone around here that has high hopes for Rotary's future, that would be our keynote speaker, Barry Razin, up next. Barry's full bio is in the Summit online program, but we all know him and love him as our very own Zone 3334, past president of Rotary International 2018-2019, whose Rotary theme, Be the Inspiration, sparked a whole new generation of Rotarians and Rotaractors working together. Barry, you have certainly been our inspiration, including myself, encouraging all of us to have high hopes for the future. Please help me give a warm Rotary welcome to Barry Razin.
Wow, thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate that very kind introduction. And what a summit. I know everybody here has got to be the same as I. We missed the in-person, but this was extraordinary experience over the last 2 days and actually over the last few weeks. I congratulate Director Stephanie and Director Peter. You've done an outstanding job. And I know you got a big team with you, and they have also done an outstanding job. All the transitions, the speakers, the entertainment, just engaging. And I congratulate you all. We have heard from so many, and try to remember all of what everybody said is, of course, impossible. However, President Holger reminded us that Rotary opens opportunities. You know, when you look at the doors behind me, you realize that Rotary may open the opportunities, but it's each and every one of us that needs to grab one of those door handles and open the door to opportunity. We are the ones who do that. Rotarians and Rotaractors, I'm asking each of you individually. It's okay collectively that we do it, but individually, we really have to open the door and accept and embrace the opportunities that are there for us. And President-elect Shaker, he reminded us that if each one gets one, we're going to get to 1.3 million Rotarians the day after he's finished as president. So we got a year and a half to work on it, but that means every one of us have to be engaged. And I think you're probably beginning to hear a theme here, that it takes every Rotarian and every Rotaractor around the world to plan for the future of our organization. We are the future. Kind of reminds you of the theme of Rotary International from John Kenny. We are the future, and we've got to appreciate that individually and accept it and be proactive so that we can make it happen. It's easy to listen and say, yes, we can do that. It's more difficult to go back home and actually do it. Be proactive, take it on. Then our CEO, John Hugo, reminded us of the realities of what's happened to our membership over the last 20 years. And that kind of hurts when you realize that we haven't grown in membership. And in the United States, we've seriously declined in membership. We need to do something about that. We need to find that secret formula to make a change. And then Vice Chairman of the Foundation, Mike Webb, an outstanding Rotarian, he reminded us about the incredible foundation responses to COVID-19. We were out there and doing it immediately, helping clubs and districts around the world, over $30 million just for COVID-19 project. What an amazing reaction that they worked so quickly and finding dollars from all sources so they could help the Rotary world to do good. He also reminded us, as we all know and are so proud, that we now have a 7th area of focus for the environment, environmental sustainability. We have work to do to make sure that that happens, but we can do it. We know we can because we want it. It's the Rotarians around the world who've been asking us to please make it happen. Please enable us, even though we've spent $19 million in the last 5 years from all the other 6 areas of focus. Now we can focus starting next year. So he gave us a great message. Dr. Salk. I mean, what a privilege to be able to hear our history and to hear from Dr. Salk's mouth that Rotary is a hero. That makes you feel good because we're the ones who are making it happen. We're the ones who bring the glue to all of our partners to make sure that we keep going year after year, no matter how challenging, no matter how long it takes. We know we're going to get there. Interesting point he made too on the population. Phase A, Phase B. We're now trying to move from Phase A to Phase B. And in Phase B, what's going to make it successful is collaboration, consensus, and sustainability. Does that sound like Rotary? Sure does to me. Does that tell us that we in the Rotary world have a significant part to play to make sure that our population goes in the right direction, does the right things? We bring it all together because we can. And then we heard from President nominee Jennifer Jones. And let's face it, Jennifer was not elected to be president of Rotary International because she's a woman. She was elected because she was the best qualified candidate for the job. She's going to be outstanding. And okay, she happens to be a woman. What a great advantage to make sure we're telling the rest of the world that we truly are getting more and more diverse. And we accept the fact that women can lead us. She's going to be an outstanding leader for our organization. And she reminded us that we're global citizens. We have to think of the world as our playground. We have to think of how are we going to help our globe so that we make the world a better place. And she also reminded us, excuse me, that we need to shout with our megaphones so our communities know what we do. We've been a little delayed in that, but we really need to make sure that our communities, our world knows Rotary. When they look at a Rotary pin, they've got to smile and say, yes, you're the ones who brought hope to us. And I see that in the future as being a major part of who we are. When we look back 20 years from now, people have that reaction to Rotarians and Rotaractors, that you're the ones who are changing the world. I want to be a part of that. And we grow even faster. Get out your megaphones, tell your communities. And those of you who are in the breakout heard past Rotary International Director Jeffrey Cataret tell us that we need in our Rotary clubs, in our districts, to reimagine everything. I want you to really think about that. Reimagine everything. Step back from your Rotary club and ask yourself, how do we do this? How do we do this differently? What can we do better than we've done before? How do we bring in more members? How do we give more to our Rotary Foundation? How should we think differently to make our organization better so we can truly go into the future being even better than we are today? That's what we need to do. So I ask you to take the word seriously, reimagine, go back to and stand back and reimagine the possibilities. Think of the future, and are you taking us to the future, or are you holding us back as a Rotary Club? But my job is to talk more about the future of Rotary. So when you look ahead, you have to think, what are we going to see in the future? Well, number one, we're going to see that our two zones, who continue to lead the world in foundation giving, will also be leading the world in membership growth. We're going to look at our zones and say, wow, we used to give such a small amount to the foundation. Now we are over the moon because we're going to have to grow to support our foundation. We're going to have to grow in membership. We're going to get there. I truly believe that in the next 10 years, we will be 2 million members in Rotary. We'll talk about where that's in a moment. But I believe truly, if we, each and every one of us, take it seriously, we can make it happen. Polio eradication. We're going to look back and say, we're the ones. I could stand proud because I was a part of eradicating a disease off this planet. There's only 2 countries left, and you know all the details, but we are almost there. We're going to make it happen. The head of the army in Pakistan said it'll happen by next year. That may be too ambitious, but that's just an indication of how it's not just Rotary, it's all of our partners, it's the governments of the countries left, it's the new vaccine. All of that is coming together to make it happen. So we can fulfill the promise we made to the children of the world. We made that promise with all sincerity, and we don't want another child to get that crippling and horrible disease. The foundation will also achieve in 2025 our endowment goal of $2.025 billion, which means we'll bring back $100 million every year for global grants to help us do even more. We're not just doing this for the sake of doing it, we're doing it so we can do more good in the world. That's our future. In the top 10 today. I want us to be number 1, and then there's somewhere behind us, about 10 steps, there's a number 2. We need to be the organization that shows the world how to do this. And of course, the environment, which I already talked about. And then there's Rotaract. We are in the process, right in the middle of a culture change. We need to remind each one of our Rotary clubs that we need to think a little differently. Again, it goes back to that reimagine everything. How do we make ourselves relevant to young professionals? So important, because we need the young professionals to want to join Rotary. That culture change will make the difference. We made a lot of policy change, made a lot of procedure changes, but we need the culture change. And that, of course, is more difficult. But I believe in another 10 years, we will have double the number of Rotaract clubs we have today, because they want to do service and they want to make the world better and they want to do it with Rotary. They just don't necessarily want to do it the way our Rotary clubs are doing it. But they're poised and ready. If the Rotary clubs aren't going to change, they're going to start their own Rotary clubs because they want to do it. They want to make our world better. 10 years, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. They could be 1.2 million by that time. Think about that. What an incredible group of young people. And all we need is 50% of Rotaractors to join a Rotary club, and we've grown in membership. That's one of our sources of new members. Let's not take that lightly. Let's make it happen. You know, in a lot of countries around the world, a district has 50, 80, even 100 Rotaract clubs. All of us in all of our districts need to look at our district and ask ourselves, why don't we have that? Why don't we have many more Rotaract clubs, especially the community-based Rotaract club? That will make a gigantic difference to our organization. And of course, looking at the future, we have to look at membership. We talked a little about this. As I mentioned, the US needs to find the answer. For too long, we've been declining in membership. We have to stop that. And that means we have to do things differently. We keep planning to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We all know that's the definition of insanity. Let's get away from that definition. Let's not be the insane group that is trying to keep doing the same thing and get different results. Let's reimagine everything. Thank you, Jeffrey, for those words. I will be quoting you a lot. We also have to embrace diversity. We've begun the process with women. We're up to maybe 23% globally. So we made progress and we're going in the right direction and we're talking about it, and that's all good. But too many are under 23%. In the Caribbean, I'm proud to say we have countries that are 45 and 50%. What an incredible job that they're doing for that diversity. And then with age, we're bringing Rotaractors in. That's going to help us with our age diversity. But you know, we're not yet talking about all of the elements of diversity. What is the percentage of Blacks in Rotary clubs and districts in the United States and Canada? What is the ethnic breakdown in our clubs around the world? Our bylaws say we represent our communities. Every club should represent their community. We're not doing that. But I see in 20 years when we have turned that corner and we start embracing all elements of diversity, again, you have to get to 2 million members. There's no way around it. We embrace Rotaract. We embrace each one get one. We embrace diversity. We get there, but we have to be proactive with doing it. It can't be waiting for Rotary to tell us what to do. Rotary clubs run this organization, and Rotary clubs need to step up and all put their passion and energy into being proactive to reimagine ourselves. In our clubs, we have to improve our engagement with our members. We lose too many. We bring them in, but we lose them, as you've heard. So let's engage our members. Let's make sure we know what they want when they come in, and then meet their needs, meet their expectations, keep them in the organization, excite them about what we do and how we're changing the world. They want to be a part of it. Let's make sure they stay with us. We need to grow our clubs. Where we have a club that is very old and doesn't want to change, let's start a new club right next door. And what we're going to see in 20 years is a shift of clubs to different geographical areas, because we're starting so many new clubs in order to entice new individuals to join us. And we have to grow Rotarians. I think that's an important factor that was mentioned. We have the opportunity now with Toastmasters and our Learning Center, which if you haven't been there lately, go to it. It's a fantastic resource to help us develop leadership skills and personal development. And each Rotarian needs to avail themselves. We're the leaders in our communities. Our governments know we're the leaders in our communities, and we need to step up and actually be the leader, every single member. As we do that, again, we're shouting from the rooftops, and the communities will want to join us and be part of us. Public image, we've talked about shouting from the rooftops, but we've got to tell our communities. I see again in 20 years, everybody knows what a Rotary pin stands for, not just that it's that organization that does good, but they know what we stand for, they know what we do around the world. And Rotary International has now engaged in developing a new structure for Rotary International. This is exciting. You remember how we went into Future Vision, a major change. It took 7 years. This may take at least that long, but let me tell you, this is a fundamental change to how we do, not who we are. We cannot change who we are. We stand for integrity. Our 5 core values cannot change. That's integral to who we are, and we don't change them. Our support for our Rotary Foundation doesn't change. But why not regionalize so that we can organize our Rotary and Rotaract world based on culture, geography, and language, as opposed to just numbers that zones are? Let's regionalize and have boards who are responsible for those regions to work with all the clubs in that particular region. And part of that new design is to also bring direct support to every single Rotary club. So we have leaders who will have fewer clubs to work with, but they will be able to then spend much more time in motivating and identifying need, in bringing help, bringing resources to those clubs, direct support to help those clubs do better. Imagine 47,000 clubs around the world. If every one of them was strong, doing good service, doing good support for the foundation, doing good membership growth, we would be over the 2 million member mark. I'm giving you all the ways to do it. All you have to do is be proactive and embrace it. And of course, our service is so key to what we do and who we are and how people think of us. We've got to embrace that and do more than we ever did before. And we do a lot. And we do life-changing things, whether it's in the Philippines where the Rotarians built an entire community, residential, community center, church, school, and they moved everybody off of the river into the community. Now they have toilets, running water for washing hands, for potable water to drink, and they cleaned up the river. Not only did they change everybody's life by giving them a better life, they also cleaned up the environment, and therefore everybody was healthier. What a fantastic. That is transformational. We need to do more transformational projects. They've done it in the Philippines. Madagascar is doing it with a vocational training team. Malawi, Esther and I visited a school where they brought a couple of toilets and water. Fantastic project, but there's a whole lot of more schools that need toilets and need water. And we need to get there to help those schools and get the job done, because the children, they so appreciate the help that Rotary is giving us. And hand wash in Haiti, only 35% of the entire population have water within a mile of where they live. Imagine that. That's just not right. So Rotary on the ground, Rotary in the District 7020 said, we are not going to tolerate this, we're going to fix it. So they're going to bring water, sanitation, and hygiene to every citizen of the country. $2 billion it'll cost, 15, 20 years, but we're going to do it. And we have a business plan that is sharper than any corporate business plan I've ever seen. So it's an absolutely amazing opportunity that we're going to have. But now, I want to sing you a song. Well, I want to sing you a song, but I'm not going to sing because I don't want to hurt anybody. And my friends tell me that would be very painful for me to actually sing. So instead, I'm going to just talk about the words in the song, to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe. Have we done that? Yeah. We're fighting polio. Everybody says it couldn't be done. You can't eradicate polio. We're doing it. We're fighting that unbeatable foe. We're bringing water to people who don't have it. We're bringing healthcare. We're bringing education. We are going to fight the unbeatable foe. To bear with unbearable sorrow. We are so sad. That's why we do this, because we can't stand to see people in these situations where they are so downtrodden because they don't have the basic needs that we can give them. We are going to give them. But our unbearable sorrow helps to drive us and to run where the brave dare not go. We are the brave, I got to tell you. The brave dare not go to certain places, but the Rotarians have gone into areas where the Boko Haram is controlling the population. A Rotarian actually met with the Taliban to tell them to stop. The Rotarians are beyond brave, because the brave wouldn't do that, but Rotary would do that. To right the unrightable wrong. There's too many unrightable wrongs in this world. Rotary wants to fix them. Our communities need us to get in there and stop these things that are happening that are wrong for the populations, and to love pure and chaste from afar. That's what we do. It's because we love other people and we want to help them. We help them. We reach out and help people we'll never see. We'll never see them. We'll never know who they were, but we'll know in our heart we've made their life different. We've given them an opportunity to have a better life. To try when your arms are too weary. And sometimes we get tired, sure. Polio has made us exhausted. But we've got to get a new energy. We've got to get rejuvenated because we've got to finish the job. We cannot be too tired to reach the unreachable star. Many say it's unreachable. It's not. We're going to get there. We are going to reach the stars that nobody else could do. We will eradicate polio. We will bring water to those in need. We will bring healthcare. We will bring education. We will eliminate poverty. We will eliminate hunger. This is our quest, to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, because we don't see it as hopeless, we know it can work. No matter how far, because it is far, it's a long, long journey we're on, but it doesn't matter. We're going to do it. We're going to fight for the right without question or pause, to fight for right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. That's what we do. We don't care where it is or what's happening. We want to fix it. We go there to make a difference. We go there to give people hope. We go there because we care, because we know that heavenly cause, and we know that we are only true to this glorious effort, to this glorious quest, that our collective hearts will lie peaceful and calm when we are laid to rest. And the world will be better for this. That Rotarians and Rotaractors, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with our last ounce of courage to reach that unreachable star, that world that is free of conflict, that world where every citizen of the world is getting the education, getting water, getting health, and lives a good life with good hope. That's the unreachable star. We're going to reach it because of you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for making our world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. As always, you have presented an informative and inspirational and really a powerful presentation. There are a few questions. I just want to say on behalf of the crowd, I am sure that we all would have loved to hear you sing, though. We would have been very proud to have you done that. So let's start with a question from one of our Rotaractors, which is, what are our first steps to inspire true collaboration between Rotaract and Rotary in our districts?
It's simply a matter of sitting down around a table or going for a walk in the forest together and talking to each other. We need to hear each other. We need to listen. Rotarians need to listen to what Rotaractors want, and Rotaractors need to see how they can adjust to what Rotarians are already doing. And then we meet with a compromise somewhere in between. It all starts with talking to each other, listening to each other, and making the changes we need to make to accommodate each other together. With relationships, we solve the problems of the world. And that's what we have to create, relationships between every Rotaractor and every Rotarian.
Thank you for that. There's a question. Thanks for all you do for Rotary, but can you give us an update on the Bahamian Rotary District's recovery?
Oh, wow. We have a long way to go. Hurricane Dorian was devastating. We need over $2 billion to help them. Rotary has a goal of 10 million that we need to collect. We've got about 2. We're doing lots and lots of projects. We're doing fantastic. Individual Rotarians here, I'm so proud of them. Mike Stafford's one from Freeport, and Ken Strawn. And I mean, there's just so many, I don't want to mention anymore, but we're doing amazing things, but it's very difficult. COVID-19 slowed us down. We couldn't even travel to the islands. But as we keep reminding everybody, those groups that came to help us did a wonderful job. But at the end of the day, Rotary is going to be there from the beginning until they're back to where they used to be. So we continue to work with them on a daily basis. Our Bahamian Disaster Committee still meets every 2 weeks. Our district committee meets every week. And we're going to get them there, but it's a very long haul. We need a whole lot of help from around the world to get it done. We're right now, we got 50 houses in Apico that we finished. We've got houses in Freeport we've finished. We've got a community center we've finished. We've got water we've given. We've got food we've given. Jaws of Life. There's lots of things. So that's a whole presentation by itself. But we need lots of help. But Rotary is doing a fantastic job here.
Thank you. How soon can we hope to see some of the new Rotary structure?
Well, on Thursday morning, 2 days ago, the Rotary Board allowed our committee to give them 2 hours of discussion on the new structure. So from there, they've agreed that we can now start talking about it because we've been working on this for 2 years. It's such a major change. We don't want to scare anybody. So we're going to meet in small groups, focus groups, with senior leaders and with Rotarians and with Rotaractors. And we want to start getting feedback from the Rotary world so that we can see what we're trying from what we know, but we want to then get ready to pilot it, try it out in 6 regions around the world. So we're a little far from that, but we're going to start the focus groups in January. And anybody who's interested in that, let us know. And we'll set up a time where we can come and show you the details of what we plan to do, what we like to do, what we believe we can do, and get your input. We're at a point now we need to listen to Rotarians, we need to listen to Rotaractors, listen to the senior leaders. As an example, we talk regionalization. What we do in India is going to be different than what we do in the United States. How we do it is different. But as I say, we still have the core values. So we want input on all of that.
Okay, so I have a couple more questions and I think we're running out of time, so people know how to get a hold of you. We're proud that you're a part of us. So if Rotaract is a type of Rotary membership, as we engage and attract more Rotaractors, wouldn't we have more than 1.2 million Rotarians? I guess it's a math question.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Oh, sorry. So if Rotaract is a type of Rotary membership, as we engage and attract more Rotaractors, wouldn't we have more than 1.2 million Rotarians?
Right, okay, we have to look at it like this. A Rotaract club is a member of Rotary International. A Rotary club is a member of Rotary International. When you put them together, you can't talk about the Rotarians or Rotaractors as members. What you can do is talk about all the clubs. Now, what I do now is I say we don't have 1.2, we have 1.4 million members around the world. We need to start thinking of that in those terms so that we could include Rotaract club members and Rotary club members together in that number. If you noticed in the last few months, Rotary International, when they come out with their dashboard of membership, they also include Rotaract into that. So we can see the growth of Rotaract, which, by the way, is absolutely phenomenal. Over 3,000 clubs in the last year. Rotary hasn't done that much in a long, long time. Rotaract is doing it. Rotaract is on fire. And all we have to do is fix Rotary a little, and they all going to come in and join Rotary Club in their way, and we're going to be through the moon.
Excellent. So here's a question. I think it's a special question about your thoughts about a particular rag. So, of course, Geetha, thanks you for your energy and inspiration, but we all know that in times of COVID, anxiety, depression, and suicide, all of this has increased exponentially. And that, what do you think about the rag on mental health taking the lead on all continents for Rotary to help people who are suffering?
I happen to believe that all the rags should take leadership in their own areas. And obviously I can't deal with all the rags, but they all have individuals who are experts in the field, and they have an opportunity to bring information to the whole world. So they should be doing that. They should step up, be proactive, and take a kind of stance that they are the leaders in their field. I can speak for the disaster rag, and I've recently had the conversation with Rotary International and with the DNA rag, and I said, let's sit around the table and see how the rag can pick up more of the needs for disasters for around the world. And we're going to do that. If we have to do that one at a time with the rags, we'll do that. But no question, the rags are key to our future.
Barry, as always, there are more questions. There are more. We love listening to you, but we are on a timeline, as you are well aware. So thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it back to our moderator, Alex.
Wow. Well, Barry, I think it is safe to say you impacted all of us just now. Thank you again for being with us today and encouraging all of us to embrace true diversity and form authentic partnerships within our communities and, of course, with Rotaract as we head into our future. And, of course, thank you to our Q&A moderator, Marcy Ullum, and Terry Weaver, our chat moderator. Now, every year, we take time at our Zone Summit to remember those governors in our zones whom we have had to say a final goodbye. This is usually done in our celebration of life service on Sunday, but tonight we have a special remembrance for those who have left us this past year from One Voice Children's Choir.
Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am the thousand winds that blow. I am the diamonds glint on snow. I am the sunrise on ripened grain. I am the gentle, gentle autumn rain. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. When you awake in the morning hush, I am the swift uplifting rush. Soft, soft starlight, starlight at night. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep.
Well, family of Rotary, we've come to the end of our Summit of Champions, except for our wrap-up tailgate party. Director Peter and I hope you have enjoyed the sessions and have been educated and inspired to continue the magic of Rotary. Historically, Rotary Summits or Institutes have been attended by past, present, and future district and senior leaders. These summits allow attendees to share information, build connections, and exchange ideas about Rotary International and our Rotary Foundation. Through a combination of our general sessions and breakouts, our leadership seminar and our PDG forum, our Uncorked Service Project, our Foundation Donors event, and our Summit of Champions website and House of Friendship, we have successfully provided information on Rotary and on the Rotary Foundation. Local and international speakers who shared information on relevant Rotary and other topics, entertainment, and a chance to connect with friends. Of course, because our 2020 summit went virtual, Director Peter Kyle and I were able to open up attendance and participation to our entire family of Rotary. Once again, we share appreciation and thanks to the fabulous Executive Planning Committee and their entire work teams. This whole adventure was homegrown with talent from across our zones and beyond. Of special note, we thank the many Rotaractors who were a part of this summit, either in planning, on screen, or behind the scenes with technology roles. You Rotaractors are amazing and represent a part of the future of Rotary. And finally, I extend thanks to all of you, family, friends, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Toastmasters, and guests who joined us for all or parts of this incredible history-making Zones 33 and 34 virtual summit event. Alex, before I turn it back to you for some final comments and instructions, let me remind everyone to please wear your favorite team jersey for the tailgate party. Okay, Alex, back to you.
Alex, before you finish, please allow me to make a few comments. I would like to echo Stephanie's comments. This leadership summit has been awesome. Successful beyond our wildest dreams. Just looking at the comments in the chat pane, phenomenal, outstanding, wonderful. This has just been great. So Stephanie and I owe a great debt of gratitude to all those involved in the planning and the implementation of this event. Stephanie's mentioned all the sessions, the plenary, the breakouts, the PDD forum, the Uncorked Service Project, the major donor event. Well organized, very informative, very entertaining, and very memorable. I don't want to single out any particular individuals, but I do want to give a special shout out to Jeremy Hurst. Jeremy was the chair of the summit. Jeremy, you did an incredible job. Thank you so much for your leadership, your dedication, and your ability to bring out the very best in everybody on your team. There's one other person who I do want to recognize. My friend, my co-director, the senior director for Zones 33 and 34, and our motivator in chief, Stephanie Urchik. Stephanie, you began this journey some 2 years ago when you committed to have the summit in your hometown, Pittsburgh, the city of champions. When the executive committee met with you a year ago in Pittsburgh, we all sensed your love, your passion for the city, and your hope that we would all get to enjoy everything that the city has to offer. When the decision was made to go to a virtual summit, we all sensed your disappointment, but we took inspiration from the way you quickly pivoted from challenge to opportunity. You provided vision, enthusiasm, creativity, a willingness to let each member of the team do their job, but to offer suggestions when appropriate. Hallmarks of a great leader. You were always available and fully engaged, notwithstanding the many other demands on your time. On a personal note, I thank you for including me so readily in all aspects of the summit, for being such a great mentor, such a great role model, and being such a great Zoom chat partner. On behalf of the executive committee and all those who participated in this incredible event, I congratulate you and I thank you for your leadership and for overseeing what has been a truly memorable summit.
Oh, Peter, thank you so much. You're bringing me to tears. Thank you very much.
Wow. Well, thank you, Stephanie and Peter, and to all of our wonderful speakers and the behind the scenes wizards, Marshall Butler, Andy Van Hook, and Ken Dresser, that brought all of this exceptional programming together. What an incredible Summit of Champions this has been. It has been an honor to be here with you guys this evening. Now, all of the general sessions and breakout sessions have been recorded, and we encourage you to share them with the clubs in your districts as programs. You can find them on the Zone 3334 website under resource libraries. Now, don't go away. A couple of quick additional announcements before we finish. First, we would like to give a huge shout out to all of our many sponsors that made this first ever virtual Summit of Champions possible, and especially our title sponsors. Please visit the House of Friendship for links directly to each of our sponsors' websites. Our title sponsors for this event were Visit Pittsburgh, Rotary District 7280, representing one of our newest Zone 33 districts in Pennsylvania, and One Voice Children's Choir. Now, second, don't forget, log back in at 6:30 for our Bring Your Own Everything tailgate party. We're going to have loads of fun with some special guests and specially created fun videos of the various governor classes. You won't want to miss it. No agenda, just time to be with each other, to have some laughs and share some smiles. So grab your beverage and snack of choice and come back to the tailgate party at 6:30. And finally, we will close tonight with one final performance in the grand finale from One Voice Children's Choir, doing their version of This Is Me. This is from The Greatest Showman, and it really is one of their biggest productions. We are certain you will enjoy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the grand finale of the Summit of Champions. No apologies. This is Rotary.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts.
I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are.
But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious.
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna stand up, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. We'll fire away. Cause today I won't let the shame sink in.
We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun.
We are warriors.
Yeah, that's what we become.
Won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. Oh, we're glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, then I say I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me.
it's gonna cut me down. I'm gonna send flag, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. This is me.